you both.
I know. Where are you right now? Are you home?
I'm literally no, I'm at my parents' house. This is
Well,
my
we're
dog.
live, so don't throw out addresses.
Oh, okay, well,
We're live with another
look,
episode of Brownish Live. You guys know my co-host. I don't know why you're the bottom box today,
I'm
but
in
give
the
it up for the
box.
beautiful, the hilarious Sasha Merci.
Thank you for
Uh,
having me.
and then our special guest for today, you know him from BuzzFeed's PeroLike and Starz Vida, Curly Velasquez. Woo!
Hey, what's
sorry,
good?
I like looked at my
Did
shirt and
you
I was
just
like, wait,
tell?
there might be kids watching, and
Yes, I
I'm
love
not gonna
it.
lie. I think that's a first in Brownish history. We've never been flashed by
We've
our
never
guest.
been class. This is the first time.
wait, am I? Wait, I
Oh,
can like cuss and say all the dirty
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Amazing. We before we went out, we were talking about La Leaf, which is the Latino International Film Festival, right? I think is the in Los Angeles. I think is the thing.
Correct.
So Rafa, who's a friend of ours who throws the event, he texts me. He's like, "Come to the gala and come to the premiere." And I'm like,
Right.
"Oh my god, that's so cool!" Like, I mean, first I have crazy anxiety, and I'm like my IBS, my irritable bowel syndrome, just starts acting up.
Okay.
And oh wait, before I go into story mode, can I tell you both how much I love you both, and I think you
Oh
both are so dope and so talented, and I always get so excited to see you shining and like thriving, and I'm just like,
my God.
I know that each of you put so much work both for the community and for yourselves. And so like I just want to say like thank you for having me. This is so cool. I was watching last time with Maya and I was like talking to y'all both and I'm like, oh, I want to come on. And I'm so excited to finally be here with you super mega talented people. Like for sure, for sure.
Thank you. Well, you know we're fans of you. We've been flirting on getting you on for quite some time now, and it
Oh
finally
my
happened.
god.
So,
Yes, thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for having me. So fast forward to anxiety, Lalif. I'm shitting myself. I'm calling Jenny Lorenzo, La Abuela. I'm like, oh my god, like I always get nervous and then there's like some people that I like don't want to run into because I'm like, you're so toxic, I don't want to see you. So I'm like, but it's fine, like here we are. And so we and so on the way there, I go, Jenny, I just have to warn you, um, I have this weird thing. Um, I call it, okay, so I have like a theory I call the wristband theory in life. And I think
mhm.
all of us have different wristbands, right? So like some people find really good parking. That is their wristband. Some people like everywhere they go, they get a free drink at the bar. That is their wristband, right? My wristband is I'm very lucky that like I'll walk in somewhere and I'll always have a friend somewhere. Like, oh my God, Curly, what are you doing here? And I'm like, ah! But part of my wristband is that every time I try to go somewhere, I'm never on the list. I am, oh my God, wait, okay, so wait. Okay, Sasha, the first time we met in line to
Yes.
go to Aida Rodriguez
Yes.
comedy show.
That's
Aida herself, she is my president. I call her my president. We have the same birthday. We're Virgo. She's my president, baby, like my queen. Love her. Invited by her personally. I get to the front. I'm not on the list.
I
I'm on the
remember.
list. Yes, remember I wasn't on the list.
I
So
remember. Yeah.
yeah, so I have this thing that no matter where I go, I'm never on the list. And so regardless of who invited me, so I go and I tell I'm telling Jenny, I'm like, look, we're gonna get there and I might not be on the list, just so you know. So sure enough, we get there to the front, and I'm dressed with like a giant hat, these long feathers in my ears. I'm wearing like a 4XL suit, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna be on that list. I already know. I get to the front, and they're like, "You're not on the list, right?" And I'm like, "It's cool." I
By the
just
way, I saw your Instagram. Dress like that. If I'm the person in charge of
Right.
I just go, just walk in. There's no way you're
Right.
decked out to just try to
Right.
crash.
it's just like whatever. Yeah, exactly. So I'm just like, whatever. So I'm not on the list. Thankfully, a girl that was there, and she sees my big hat, and she goes, "I love you. Here's your thing. Just go." And I'm like, "Thank you so much." And so I go inside, and I'm like, "Hi, I think I'm supposed to be walking red carpet. I don't really know. I don't even want to do it. I just want to go to my seat. But I think this is what we're supposed to do as entertainers."
Right.
I'm not telling her this. I'm thinking in my head, and they're like, you're not on the list for the red carpet. And I'm like, cool, 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 cool. And so an executive from Warner Brothers sees my hat from across the way, runs across, and it's like, Curly, what are you doing? Come to the red carpet. Come now. And I'm like, okay. So we go to the red carpet. They're like, you're not on the list. And he's like, we're Warner Brothers. This is our movie. Let him on the fucking thing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, thank you. I go on the thing. I do the red carpet. Those are all the photos that you saw. So we get inside. So finally, like, we get inside, and they're like, Jenny Lorenzo and guest, her husband, was with us. You may sit here. And they were like, and you, sir, where is your ticket? I'm like, hi, long story. I'm like, I don't have a ticket, but I was invited personally by Rahaf and Sal. And they're like, come with me, sir. And I'm like, oh my God, like, how is this? And I just feel even more silly because I'm wearing like over the top stuff. So I already know, right? And it's just like, I don't really have, I always keep my ego in check. So I'm like, is this your ego getting upset? Or is this what, like, don't worry, just roll with the punches.
Right.
So I'm like, look, I just want to say it. Like, give me, I'll sit in the back, wherever. I don't care. I really don't care. And then another girl sees me and she's like, oh, Curly, I saw you because of your hat. Like, I have an extra ticket. Like, come sit with me. So I'm sitting with her. And so it was a beautiful evening. It was really nice. But all that to say is that, like, if you ask how it went, I'm like, oh, it was heavily anxiety inducing. Like, I was just like this being thrown around all over. I'm never on the list. My dream and my hope is to make it to a place in my career where I don't have to worry about
being on the list.
Yes.
Right.
By the way, I know that you are not alone in that whole red carpet thing. I'm the same way. Like, they're like, "Oh, you're gonna do red carpet?" I'm just like, I don't want. Because my thing is, I hate going over there. Like, hi, yes, I'm comedian Erik Rivera, and then starting to list my credit. Like, I'm trying to convince them to let me on. So I'm always like, nah, I'm cool. I'm just gonna go over there, and it's always somebody else that goes, "Hey, did you walk?" And I'm like, "No, come on!" And I'm just like, "Oh, okay, I don't. All right."
Yes. And then sometimes they literally are like, oh, what's your name? Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Here, hold your own sign. You're like, okay.
Right.
Or the worst is even like when you go in front, like behind somebody that they know, like, oh my God, oh, it's Jimmy Smith. And it's you. Like, what's your name? Erik Rivera. Click. Okay.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
You guys know nobody else wants a picture? Okay.
Right.
You know what happens to me is I'll go out and I'll be like trying to smize, like doing my best Tyra, like smizing. And they're like, so are you gonna smile or what? And I'm like, oh, yes, I can smile. I'm like, I thought I looked hot, but
no, you look great though, and those pictures look amazing. You were bringing in the fashion. I loved it.
Thank you, Curly. That could be the name of your book, not on the list. I love that. And thank you, Sasha. Thank you, Sasha, for saying that. You know what? I just am like, just keep it real. I always will go back to keep it real when you're coming from. I call it the secure, and I imagine it being a place deep inside of us, and it knows that we're beautiful. It knows that we're talented. It knows that we're gonna go back home to our familia. My mom made us like little tacos with like frijoles, like right before I left. It knows that I'm coming back home to that, regardless of how all these other people make me feel.
Right.
So I was just like, okay, come from the secure. How do we feel? How do we move into these different spaces? And when I go home, regardless of how many showrunners that saw me and walked past me and pretended like they didn't see me, I still went home a full and complete person, back to my mom and her frijoles,
Yeah.
I will. By the way, I always keep it super fucking real, and if it's a little bit of shade, it's a little bit of shade,
No, I mean, you gotta keep it real. I want to know what you're talking about.
I'll tell you later. And it's really funny when people are like, I didn't see you. I'm like, did you see my fucking 6-foot hat? Or did you?
Yeah.
Who did?
Oh, no, I just thought it was a walking hat by itself. I didn't know.
Yes, exactly. And maybe
now, did the hat stay on for the movie, or did you remove?
Me lo quité because I was like, I don't want. The first 5 minutes of the movie, I was like, oh my God, I feel so sorry for the person behind me. Like, and I was like, who gives a fuck? We're here. This is our look. But then Curly is very much like, oh, are you? Can you see? Oh my god, I'm so sorry. And then I just, I'm too like. I wish I was one of those people.
But the good thing is it's a room for it was a theater full of Latinos, Latinas. So you didn't have a Karen in there going like,
excuse me, sir.
Manager?
I know. Right. But you know I played that scenario out in my head. I was like, if somebody comes for me right now and I'm wearing my hat, like what am I gonna say? And you prepare and you're like, excuse me. But then I was like, I would just leave and I would just take an Uber home and then I'm like, it's fine. Like just take your hat off. There's no Sasha's like, I'm out.
Well, Sasha just moved, so her internet can be spotty.
No worries.
So now overall, because I've seen people posting about the movie, what did you think about In the Heights that comes out this weekend, opening weekend? You got to see it early.
I am not the most like musical like person. I also have a really hard time paying attention to anything that I can't really engage with. So if I'm not having a conversation, or if you just want me to watch and sit or hear people, I have a hard time. So in saying that, what I will say is that it was really good for somebody who is like has a hard time paying attention and somebody that you're like, I really, really enjoyed it. And then the other part of that too is like Melissa Barrera, who plays Vanessa in the movie, is like a super good friend of mine. And so she had sent me the screener to watch it like a few weeks before. And I basically, what do friends do? We're basically here to troll you. So I basically just trolled her. I trolled her the whole movie. There's a scene where she walks out in her high heels and you just hear like, oh, hi baby, welcome back. We're talking about what I thought about
In the Heights.
In the Heights.
Hey.
So there's a scene where Melly's like walking in the liquor store. Oh yeah, we were. I liked it. I loved it. But so the first time I saw it, I was just trolling Melly the whole time. I just was like, "Pick your feet up! Like, why are you stomping so hard in this scene?" Like, and then there's one part where like she like actually every time if you watch the movie, every time Melly flips her hair, like turns around, her hair goes woof. And so I was like
wonderful, like just like
slow motion. I was like, oh, the hair toss heard around the world. Everybody should take a shot every time Melly's hair flips.
I love that you're going through the trolling.
I watched it, but I'm gonna watch it again, and I'm gonna keep an eye out for her hair.
But this is how you know I love you, because I'm gonna troll you and I want you to troll me. Like that is I feel very Latino and very like POC culture to how do you roll? Like, can you hang? You know?
Yeah.
So the second time I saw it in theaters, I was like blown away by her performance. The singing and the dancing and the emotion in her face and all the other characters too. Like, I cried several times. I cried when I sent her a text after to tell her how proud I was. I was like, I didn't know that my friend was like that. Like, I didn't know that it was like that. I knew you were talented and I loved you, but I didn't know I was friends with a superstar, you know? And so I'm like, I love it. And I think that it is really cool to see all the different communities that make us who we are in one movie and the songs and at the production level that it's at. And it's kind of cool to be like, if we can get a cool movie like that, like what can all of us do? What can the rest of us do? And what can the rest of us see? And but of course it's like it's always interesting to see like the rally cry, like, okay, everybody, buy the tickets on Saturday. Like everyone's gonna do it. It's super, super, super interesting. But I think it's worth it. You will love it. You will get excited, you will dance. New Yorkers are fucking fine as fuck. Like, we don't have like a lot of like Caribbean dudes out here in LA. So when I see the fucking lineup, oh no, y'all call them shape ups in New York, huh?
Yeah,
we call them lineups in LA. That was like the hair. That was my hair in the 2000s. I'll go get my lineups. And when you see fools out there with their fucking shape ups and they're fucking dancing and they're beefy and
I know. It's so for me, just watching it, I was just so grateful to have a piece of work that reflects on my specifically my culture in a wonderful light. You know what I mean? So it's like you watching it. You're from LA. You're Mexican, right? Am I right? Right? No, 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 no. You
I'm
saw
kidding. I'm Central American. Yeah.
Central American. No, no, but
I love all people. You can mistake me for being anything, and I would be like,
no,
oh, thank you.
what's up?
No, you're fine. No, but I get it. Just seeing like different, like, you know, even Afro Latinidad, like even like different, like people of Taino descent
Right.
and all that, like everything that makes the beautiful Caribbean culture. I get it. Like it was dope.
The thing about it is like just seeing like someone see it from a different perspective, right? And like just being like, yo, like this is so great. Like I didn't even know this place existed, right? Versus like growing up, people kept telling us like, oh, you need to change. Like no one's gonna really notice you or any of this stuff. So
Yep.
I can't wait for this to happen for all of the Latin
Yeah.
cultures. You know what I mean? Like
Absolutely. I did a video a while ago showcasing what I remember my sister, my tias, and my primas looked like in the 90s, like the chola aesthetic, right? Before it was cool, before Gwen was doing it, like,
right.
and I wrote this whole big thing. It didn't make it to the video because it was too long, but I wrote this whole thing about how, like, while other people were making fun of you about how you look like a payasa in your clothes and your lipstick and your lip liner, even our own family, our own grandmothers and women in our family, even them making fun of you for how you dress and how you look, like you didn't know that you were a trendsetter. You didn't know that you were a trailblazer. And I don't want to get emotional, but I just remember like seeing my sister, and to me, she was the most beautiful, like with her bangs and her lip liner and her little crop tops and her baggy ass pants that she stole from my dad, right? Like, and people would make fun of her, and I'm like, damn. And now you see people out here being like, cholas, cholas.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you
How old
didn't.
is she? How old is your sister?
My sister is 39, 40. So like she was, and her name was like Lil Devil back in the day.
Oh,
Yes. But she's the type, like most like a lot of people who I think were a little bit more hood back in the 90s, like they don't like to talk about it. It's not something that they're proud of. But as somebody who witnessed them as a young queer kid, like where my idea of beauty was informed by her and my tios with their shaved bald heads, and or they it was in style to have like the shaved sides and the pony in the back with the, do you know what I mean? That
wow.
was what I thought was really beautiful, and that really informed, you know, my style. And even now when I date or when I see other girls that I'm like, you are gorgeous, like holy
Right.
shit. I'm
Right.
You know, it's been really awesome. So I get it. Like seeing a movie like this and seeing everything go down, like you're like, yes, that is us. That is our style, you know? But I have a question though. Were you like, oh, that's very in the Heights? Or were you like, well.
Well, okay, this is what I'm going to say, right?
Not to stir anything up, but I'm like, I'm not from there. So I'm like, y'all are really musical in the Heights.
Well,
Yeah, it's a lot of singing and
people in the
dancing. If you
Heights
go up
have
there,
like
that's all
a
they
really
do.
good sense of fashion. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Huh?
you know, and when I'm talking about like when the Kardashians was out, like Dominicans in the Heights thought that they were the Kardashians. They were not buying, they were not going to Rainbows, they were not going there. Like we had this whole little like area where it was like kind of like it was called Zodiac, and you'll get like your nice bonded dresses from there for like cheap. So
Yes.
the sense of style, like I mean, Melissa's smelly style, like it was cool, it was hip and all that stuff, which is like very much like young urban New Yorkers.
Yeah.
But we was like, we thought we was from like downtown, like you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
so like there was some moments where I'm like, damn, I wanted to see more of that.
Yes.
But also like the part of like the salon. I don't know if it's like that here, where that's where you get all the gossip and that's where you get everything. It's like, is that like a culture here where people get their information from a salon?
You know, I didn't really do a lot of the salons, you know, of course.
No,
I do.
like your mom, like, or your aunts or your sisters.
No, not really. You know, I don't remember. Like, my mom has a señora that she goes to her house, and then that's the señora that paints her hair, you know?
So that's where we get our gossip, right?
Wow.
So like, go to the salon, because then I used to do my own hair and like learned how to do my own hair after a while. But she'd be like, you know that la mujer de al lado, que ella está haciendo. I'm like, who told you this? It's like the lady from the salon, you know? So like shit like that it was so real. And having like just seeing like just seeing that and el orgullo y la gente just having like a wonderful time, and it's always a celebration. Like if you do go to Washington Heights, have you ever went?
I have, and I had the most magical experience there. Really fast,
Yeah.
I just wanted to super tell you, I was walking and there was a girl hanging on her balcony, like just like I imagined in the movies. And she goes, "Hey, Curly," right? And me and my friend, we were like, "Shit, who do we owe money to? Like, what? Who's mad at us?"
Yeah.
And we look up, and it's this sweet girl, and she's like, "What are you doing in the Heights?" And I'm like, "Ah!"
Because he knew who you were. That's so amazing.
It was so dope. And then I was like, "I'm hungry. Like, where should we go eat?" And then she sent me, I forgot where she sent me. She sent me to some other place. And then we ran into one of the hosts from Latinos Out Loud, and he was eating there, and he was like, "What are you doing?" And so it was beautiful. But I'm sorry, keep going.
No, it's always like if you walk down the street, people are playing dominoes, they have their boombox, they're putting merengue, bachata, salsa on the street. And it's like this concrete paradise. That's
Wow.
really what it is. Unfortunately, it is getting gentrified, and
Yeah.
there's a strip on 181st
Mhm.
where you did have like these older ladies or like these older gentlemen where they will sell fruits, they will sell like have you ever had habichuela con dulce?
I don't think so.
That's like a big thing for us, right? So we make
Uh-huh.
sweet beans. And this lady, she used to sell it in the corner. I mean, unfortunately, she died, but there
Oh,
used to be a long line because that's like very niche to my culture.
Yes.
Mori soñando.
Uh-huh.
It's orange juice with milk.
Oh, wow.
Like and it tastes so good. Like some people were like, "What the you mean, like orange juice with milk?"
That's one of those things you
But
gotta
yeah, I
let
mean, there were
people
so
try.
many things. Like Lin Manuel, like he was born and raised. I think he was raised. He was raised there. He was born and raised there. I think in Washington Heights.
Yeah.
So he was able. What I love about what he did was he was able to take everything he enjoyed from there and completely turn it into this fantasy of a place that it's
Wow.
like it exists, but obviously like every place has its ups and downs, but it did take all of the positive things out of Washington Heights and really create a fantasy that if you're watching and you're like, I want to go to there.
Yeah, and it's so funny to hear it like kind of said like that, because understanding it like as an homage to your own paradise. Like I'm getting chills thinking about it, because that's how I feel about LA. That's how I feel about Hollywood, because that's where I'm from, right? Like that's where we're from. And those details and knowing that he's from there, like you're like, I see. It's a love letter. And I think that's a really good way to describe it. Like, oh yeah, it really is a love letter to the neighborhood and the culture and the people.
What would be your love letter to Los Angeles? Like, what would be, if you were able to do kind of like similar to what he did? Right?
So I grew up predominantly, I started going to clubs when I was 12 years old. There was a club out here. Eric, are you from LA? Are you from like?
I'm not. I'm originally from New York, born and raised. Yeah, I moved out here about 10 years ago, but most of the New York has left me because of the sunshine and avocados. It has pushed it all out.
We love to hear it. We love to hear it.
I go back to New York, and if it drops under 60, I become a white woman. Like, oh my God, what's happening?
We love to hear it. Mine would be, so I grew up predominantly with Latino and Black queer kids, right? So like we were always together. So our lineups, that was like our style, right? Like our fitted ball caps. I always wore like a polka dot sweater, but like a fitted LA ball cap. So they were like, "Ahí viene Curly, el loco. Siempre está vestido como un loco," right? And then my other friends were in their Sean Johns or their Echo Unlimited or their FUBU. But I always was like, nah, I'm like the Lady Gaga of the group, you know? This is before Lady Gaga. I'm teasing. But like we would go to these two clubs called the Arena and Circus, and it was so dope because everybody looked like, you remember Destiny's Child, like, I need a soldier and he's got to stand up for me. Like all the guys in that video are exactly what these gay guys look like at these clubs. So my idea of queerness was always that when we would go see other gay people in West Hollywood in their tight little shirts and their polos, like listening to Britney, it was very foreign to us because we wanted to listen to Missy, we wanted to listen to Sierra, or we wanted to listen to Trina, you know, Misbehaving, or all these other things. Like we didn't care about like they say I'm crazy. Like I don't. There's no. So I think my love letter would be to the queer Black and brown kids of LA who like were ahead of their time, who were dope as fuck, like matching. And it was, I always tease because you know, now you see like the monochromatic look is like it on Instagram or TikTok and things like that. And I'm like, but these kids had the red ball cap, the red shirt from Echo, the fucking shorts that were red, and the shoes with the red shoelaces. And that was the look. Or if it was blue, or if it was green, or if it was yellow, like whatever color you wore that night, that's what you fucking wore, you know?
Yeah.
And just like, everything we went through. And all that, like, you know, I know in New York culture, somebody was telling me the other day, the New York culture, like if you wear, or maybe this was a while ago, but if you were to wear bootleg high fashion, it was like a faux pas. Like, oh, that's not even real Chanel. Like, is that true?
Yeah. In New York City, if you wore anything that was fake, you would be roasted until like you hate yourself.
See, and in LA, we have the El Callejon, we have Santee Alley, and it's all fake shit. But we wore our fake shit with pride. We were like, look at these fucking bomb ass Chanels. How much?
That's what I'm saying. Like,
$5.
I remember.
City,
I wanted Tim's
like
bag.
they are
Caterpillar boots.
Like,
have you ever seen Caterpillar boots?
They're so strict. They're like brand Nazis in a way because they're like, oh my god, that's not even that, and this is not, and they will be ready to roast you. Like it doesn't matter where you, if you in the poorest area of New York City, I'm pretty sure you could afford some Nikes that you're probably gonna wear till the end of the school year, right? But you can't wear fake Nikes. Doesn't matter if you're poor. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like you can't wear Payless. You will get roasted.
So I missed the first half of both of your questions. So like Caterpillar boots and then fake Nikes. Should we go Caterpillar boots? They were like the fake Tims, right?
Yeah, I got a pair of those. I wanted Tims real bad, and my mom bought me Caterpillar boots because they look like.
We didn't give a fuck. We were like, where'd you get them? At the swap meet, $40. Cool.
Curly, I wore them one day. One day, I walked into the lunchroom, and all of a sudden, I hear, "Ah!" And that was it. Those Caterpillar boots were gone, never to be seen again.
Oh my god! And then Sasha, you were talking about the Nikes, how like you would do the fake. I had some fake. I went to the Puerto Rican festival in Long Beach years ago, y me compré los callejones, see, like me compré like fake Jordans, right? I didn't know that they were fake Jordans. I just liked the shape and the color so much, and instead of the Jordan sign, they had the Puerto Rican flag, right? And I was like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna rep Puerto Rico, like hell yeah. And I wore them every day. They were my only pair of shoes that we had. Like we didn't really, my family was always like, el dinero se gasta en la comida, not unlike different things that we wore, right? So I wore these shoes every day, and I remember I went to like a really, I tested into this really prestigious, rich high school here in the Valley, and I remember we had a performance, and I was supposed to be a king, and I wore my Puerto Rican shoes, and they docked points. They took points off of my performance because they were like, "Why would a king be wearing these Puerto Rican shoes?" And at the time I was like, oh man, like you're right. Like, why would a king be wearing? And now as an adult, it's like, bitch, how do you know that I didn't have any other shoes? Like what made you, and why would you dock points from a kid from wearing
what?
Yeah, but you know,
so weird.
But it's always really interesting. And I just get really proud of those sorts of things. Like I didn't know I got dropped off. My dad dropped me off in his little car at school, and my dad drove a Geo, like a little Geo. I don't know cars, but he drove a Geo. And I remember one of these two guys came up to me and they were like, "Hey, Curly got dropped off in a Geo," like, and they were like, they were like, "Oh, ha, ha," laughing. And I went home and I was like, "Dad, like the older guys thought your car was really cool. They were like talking about how I got dropped off in your car," and he was like, "Oh no, son, they're making fun of you. Like, this is a really cheap car. This is un carro de los pobres."
Wait, so I have a question.
Yeah.
I have a question. So, do you guys make fun of people's cars here?
So I don't, but I will say that cars and the way that you travel is in LA. It is a symbol of status. So like, and that sucks, right? Yes.
Sasha's asking this because she doesn't drive. She's from New York, doesn't have a license, so she wants to know about car culture.
So I was just talking about this literally yesterday on my way home. So I drove, I'm like, where's that hair coming from? I drove a PT Cruiser with no AC, a broken CD deck, a tape deck, but we're gonna get tapes, up until a year ago, 2 years ago.
CD deck, tape deck, did it still have this?
What?
Does it still have the window crank?
No, my little Gladys Mobile had electrical window. But it belonged to my grandma and then me lo dio a mí. So my grandma's named Gladys, so the car is named Gladys Mobile. And
she's adorable.
Thank you. We would like floor it in the PT Cruiser and we'd still be going like 40 miles per hour. But it was like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm about. I'm about like, it really taught me like, because I know in LA people do judge you by your car, right? What I was saying was, what I love is that when New Yorkers started to migrate here, New Yorkers, not only, I don't think they didn't know about that, but they probably didn't give a fuck. So they were like, no, I fucking do this. I'll take it. I'll fucking take the subway. I'll take the bus. I'll take the Ubers or whatever. And so they have taught a lot of us, I think, to look at it as like, oh, cool. It's not really like a status thing to be on public transportation. It's not like, I know her, I know him. He's a fucking professor. He's a scholar. He's rich as fuck and he's on the bus. Like,
yeah.
So yes, is there LA culture? Absolutely. I already see it with how people treat me in my new car versus people in my PT. You know, people are like,
what's your new car?
I have an old lady Lexus. But I'm bumping in my little radio. I have an AC. Look, to be honest, I was like, they were like, what kind of car you want? I'm like, I just want AC. Like, I don't care what it has. I want AC and I want a radio and I want to be able to plug my phone in and listen to my Spotify. That's all I wanted. And then my ex-boyfriend at the time was like, Lexus is having a sale. You should go to Lexus. And so I went to Lexus and I got
okay.
Lexus is a good brand that if you go to an event and they shout out Lexus, you're not ashamed. You know what I'm saying? Like so I got kids. I've done events like when the kids were babies and car seats where I'm standing in line waiting for my car and I hear, Bentley, Rolls Royce, Lamborghini, and then all of a sudden it's Volkswagen with two in the back, Cheerios on the passenger seat, and you're just like, dude, why are you yelling this out? It's me. Come on, man.
Yeah. But also you could have been like, that's right. That's my shit. That's my shit. You know? I mean, you gotta look. I worked my PT Cruiser so fucking hard. Like, I wrapped it. Like, the sun had damaged all the paint. There was just nothing. There were holes in the fucking leather.
No way.
People would see me on the streets and be like, hey, Curly, like, what's up? I'm like, what up? And then my horn, it also taught me patience, because if you have ever been in a PT Cruiser, their horns are not like, they're not like strong horns. They're like maybe like a C flat or like a C minor or something. They're like, and so you're like, who am I gonna scare on the freeway? No one.
I had a Prius. That Prius horn is worse.
Wait, shut up.
Is the nerd of horn? It's like, beep, excuse me, could you? Hello.
Oh.
I just imagine Prius and PTs going at it. Beep. So good though. But yeah, I mean, but look, you get to a space where, and this is actually, that was a really big learning lesson for me, to not care about my cars. And so getting a car de lujo, as we say, right? me dio un poco de ansiedad. Like, I really did get anxiety. I was like, A, do I deserve this? B, can I afford this? And C, like, I don't want to equate this with my worth or my value because I can already feel it. When I pull up to valet, I'm like, yes, this is my little Lexus. Yes, you can drive her away. You know what I mean? Like, whereas versus my PT, I'm like, hold up, let me park 2 blocks down. Let me find some parking, you know? So I can already see the change. And so it does scare me because I feel like I gained a really good life lesson from my PT and I don't want to lose it. So you might see me in like in a Honda Civic next year. Who knows?
Okay.
You know,
Honda Civics are fine. They're great.
and they last for like decades. So
Yep. And their parts are the most stolen parts. That's how valuable they are.
That's such a good fact.
Yeah, people are always stealing from it. They're like, oh, we gotta get the engine. Oh, we gotta But the good thing is that it's easier from what I hear. I don't even know nothing about cars because Eric already makes fun of me all the time. Oh, you don't even got a car, man. Ask her how she gets here. Like every time I show up somewhere.
How do you get there?
Uber.
Yeah.
He's
You're like, I'm a diamond member.
Yo, for real. But yeah, so like I don't know anything about cars.
Sasha Merci. Oh my god. Look, I will say one thing too though, that I won't date guys who don't drive. Like, okay. I'm very like, that's the only thing because I did date every time I date somebody, I'm always like, it's got to be an upgrade. So like, I can't be driving us everywhere for. Like, you got to drive us to some places. You got to pay for dinner sometimes. You got to surprise me and some shit. You know.
What if he's a New Yorker?
And he's like, look, if you show me a Puerto Rican, Dominican, a Panamanian, New Yorker, some shit, like 6 foot something, and he don't fucking drive, I'll drive you anywhere, baby. Where do you need to go?
I think there's got to be.
As long as he's trying to get his license, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I think there's got to be levels to it because if you get a guy who doesn't drive, if he's uber black, you're like, okay, cool. But if he shows up on like a little bird scooter, you're like,
yeah, not so much. I also always say that for every inch a man is over 6 feet, I'm like, I give him a little bit of a pass for different things. You know what I mean? Like if he's 6'4", 6'5", he's like, baby, I don't drive. I'm like, I'm fine. That's okay. Who drives? Hate driving.
Wait, who is the tallest you ever dated? Like, who's the tallest?
Who's the tallest? Probably like 6'5", like 6. And that having sex with, are we allowed to talk about sex on this thing? Or
yeah. By the way, I'm curious to know what your standards are. I'm 5'6". I'm like, man, Curly's book. I gotta be perfect. I gotta drive. I got a college degree.
I just saw this meme on the other day that was like overheard in LA. And the girl was, or whoever was saying like, oh, he was cute, but like he had a weird neck, so I can't date him. And they were like, what sign is this? And everybody in the comments was Virgo, 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 Virgo. And I'm a Virgo. And so, yes, you are right. You have to be perfect to.
Really?
My whole thing is like, look, when I'm like I study all the time. I read a lot. I'm learning. If I don't like something, I'm like, okay, let me go. Like, you know, I've transformed. And in the time that you have probably known me too, like you've seen how much I've transformed, right? So like, I'm always expecting people to, you want to go learn how to write a haiku? Like, you want to learn how to write go learn, you know? And so if I date people or if I'm with people who are like not on that same tip and they got a funky neck, I'm like, look, bro, like, I don't know about that neck. I can't.
You're not even trying to grow emotionally or spiritually.
No, I fucking was kissing on some dude's chest one time and he tasted like pizza bagel bites. And I was like, I'm out. I'm like,
damn. So how is dating life right now for you?
How is the dating life? Well, I'm recently out of what was a beautiful, beautiful relationship. It just we were just different people, and that's okay. Neither one of us was bad. So I'm back in the dating world, and so far it's exactly how I remember it. Men still are shady as fuck. Men still are like on a whole nother emotional tip. I actually like got stood up the other day, but like instead of getting mad, I'm moving now from the secure where I'm like, that says a lot more about him than it says about me. And I'm just like, you know, I literally just go back to the secure and just keep it like, I'm not phased. And I said my prayers, and I was like, the growth is real, Lord. The growth is real. Yes.
I love you for that. I love that.
You.
That's
Yes.
so real. I love that.
After you stopped seeing the dude whose chest were you kissed, did you change his name in your phone as Pizza Bagel Bite?
Bites? Oh my God, nope. I should, but like,
wait, did you tell him like you kind of smell like bagel bites, or you were just like get out of my house?
I got up to kiss him afterwards, and I was just like, I hope he knows that this Pizza Bagel Bite is his body and not me. Like, I hope you understand that the smell coming down from my beard is you and not me. But no, we and then we haven't really yes, I'll tell you guys more about that one like off air. But like it's been really interesting and really cool. One guy was like already mad at me for not being really good at texting, and I'm like, oh, I didn't think that this was I thought that you thought that we both agreed that we thought that we knew that this was not going to work, and he was just like, no, when you like somebody, you text them. And I'm like, yes, noted. So do you still want to cuddle and he was like, no, I don't want to. I'm like, great. And so you move back from the secure and then go, back into the world.
I want to hear more about the secure. I love it.
Oh, so yeah, the secure is like, look, to be like, somebody the other day was like, whoa, you're a little cocky about that, aren't you? And I'm like, look, bro, I used to serve the lunches at BuzzFeed. Like I used to like serve their lunch. I didn't go in as a producer. They hired me to be a receptionist, but when I got there, they didn't even have phones. So they were like, well, we have some space in our canteen we need you to stock the snacks, stock the sodas. It can never be low. We have lunches on Mondays and Wednesdays. We need you to serve it, like put the food out, order all these different things. And that's how I started. So I used to sweep. I would like, yo limpiaba con un trapo, and everybody would finish eating. So all of my early videos, I was actually still in the kitchen. I wasn't a producer. I wasn't a personality. I wasn't any of that. And so there was a point too where I was dealing with my alcohol and my cocaine addiction during that time. Yeah, and to the point where like I was always friends with the people that would deliver the food, like the Costco orders and like the different markets. And one of my friends from Costco, one day he came and he was like, bro, I just delivered some peanut butter. When you get inside, just eat a big scoop, okay? Because I can smell the alcohol on you. And I was like, okay, brother, like, thank you so much. So like I go inside and, and so I worked my way up so I'm sober 6 years now. Thank you. And I've like worked my way up into different things, into different spaces. And I'm in therapy. I'm in like music class. I have like my singing lessons. I have like my
little voice. I heard
like I'm doing all the things that I feel like I didn't give myself as a kid, or I was shamed out of. Because you know the other thing too that I always talk about before I tell you about things here, Latino and POC communities, we do this thing to each other where they're like, you like country music? That shit's whack. And you're like, oh, like we shame each other out of shit all the time, right? Like, but what you don't know is like country was taken from Black people, and
right.
cowboy looks was taken from like Mexican folks, right? So like it's very much black and brown, right? All that shit.
I was just thinking about it. I'm like, country music is literally the blues.
Exactly. And like, I remember my sister shaming me out of a lot of things, and I'm like, but I'm 9 and I like the Power Rangers, and that's okay. But they're like, Power Rangers are fucking whack, bro. Like that kind of a thing.
Who said that to you? These people are the worst people in the world. Everybody I knew in New York City was a freaking Power Ranger.
Shut up. No.
I promise you, we were all Power Rangers, bro.
No, LA people, LA Latinos, like we're just like everyone wants to be hard. Everybody, that was our culture, to be hard, to be hood, to be whatever. So it was like, nah, that's just whack. Like put on Ricky Lake. Watch some real shit.
I always say like, I was thinking about like joke the other day because I was like, yo, like, New York City, we have gangsters, right? And we have people out here like, obviously killing one another, robbing one another.
Yeah.
But imagine how tough it got to be you being a gangster in LA during an earthquake.
Yeah. You fucking right.
Hugging each other like, no, come on, I'm sorry.
Oh my god, that's so funny. I fucking love. So I like have studied stand-up comics for forever, like specifically women, and it's so funny because I know that calling somebody a female comedian is such a faux pas, but I actually only fuck with like female comedians. Like that's what I watch at home.
Yeah.
Like so, I'm always like. So for me, it's like a badge of like she's also like a female and a woman. Like look at that, So whenever I see y'all stand-ups do your thing, like I know it's an art form. It's amazing. It's so fucking dope. Like,
I get like it's so funny because people always have that misconception of like, oh, female comedians aren't funny, right? And it's always so funny to me, like, oh, who do you like? And I could list off female comedians that are just straight killers on stage.
Yes.
And I give them even more credit because that misconception is out there, and you don't realize as soon as they've touched the stage, before they've even said anything, at least 50% of that audience already has gone, oh, she's not funny. It's a girl. I'm not.
That's insane to me.
It's crazy. Like I tell anybody that thinks about doing stand-up, they're like, how do you like what's the first thing you think about? Like I'm already being judged as I'm walking to the stage. There's already judgment.
Yeah.
So like female comics that do it, I'm like, more power to them. They're so much stronger because they've already half the audience is tuned out, gone, she's not funny. She's a female.
I mean, to be honest, like women in comedy are the only reason that I started to learn how to deal with being bullied in school as a kid. Like, I remember being 12. I think I was either 12 or 13 years old, and the Queens of Comedy came out. And I was a chubby gay kid, and I would get made fun of for both. On top of my hair has changed a little bit, like the curls have gotten a little looser. But back in the day, I had like thick, curly, like where people would like call my hair carpet, like make fun of my hair like so hard, right? And I remember I saw Monique come on stage for the first time, and guns a blazing, like "fuck you, skinny motherfuckers!" Like,
right.
And it was like. I remember I went back to school on Monday and I was like, fuck you straight skinny ass motherfuckers. Like just so empowered. Like I'm fucking gay, I'm fucking queer, and fuck you. And Margaret Cho, who was like talking about queerness before anybody was. There was another girl that I really loved, named Elvira Kurt. You look at Wanda Sykes' old stuff. You look at what is her name? She is on The Real. Oh my god, what is her name? She's a black comedian on The Real.
Yeah, fucking.
Lonnie Love.
Blank on her name. It's like Yanni Nani.
No.
My god.
Oh, you know what? It's not The Real. I'm sorry. It's The Talk. The Talk.
Then you're talking about Cheryl Underwood.
Cheryl Underwood. If you look on YouTube and you look for Cheryl Underwood. Like 90s stuff. There is an old video that's not even vertical. They uploaded it. It's supposed to be horizontal, but they uploaded it vertically, so it's really fucked. So you have to watch it like this. And she makes all these fucking dick sucking jokes that I'm like, and I just remember being like, that is who I want to be. I want to be like these women, unapologetic, like not giving a fuck. Like Sasha, you have a joke about like a vagina joke, and that joke, like. It is so funny because I feel like to me it does so many. It is vulnerable, it is powerful, it is unapologetic, and it is fucking hilarious, right? Because then you get the. I'm not gonna say the joke because I don't want to kill it and I don't want to ruin the surprise for people. But the visual of that joke is just so good, and I just feel like for me, like women, the way that they approach comedy and the way that they approach jokes and the darkness of life. Is just so dope and really inspiring. Can I just tell you too? I know we have limited time. I wanted to tell you, the first time I met Sasha, we were in line to the Aida Rodriguez show, and it was really interesting because I was just mesmerized by this Pisces beauty. I was like, who is this person? I was like, whoa. And I also like you have and this is, by the way, a compliment. This isn't like this isn't to make you feel weird at all, but you have like a really good mixture of the feminine and the masculine energy. And so I was like, hold up, like this person is giving me like like really good queer vibes. And I was like, yes. And I remember you were telling me a story and I was like, wait, is she a comedian? Like she's giving me like, and then Gadiel, my Dominican brother on the team, who's also a comedian, started to try to like tell a story too. And I remember being like, hold up. Like, I know all your jokes, bro. I go to all your shows. I know all your jokes. Hold up.
Yeah.
Who is this?
No, I remember when I first met you, it was great energies and great vibes from you, man.
Yes. But also to finish your question too, like and I don't mean to interrupt you, but I know that we have limited time and I just wanted to answer your question about the secure, but it is, where do you find your beauty? How do you understand that you are beautiful? And that I always think about it as like, there are like these beautiful, my friend was looking for these super rare Marc Jacobs 2017 glitter platform high boots, right? Like he was looking all over and he finally found them and they weren't in his size. And he bought them and he sold them for thousands of dollars. But like, I always think of myself as like a glitter boot and being like, I might not be your size, but I will never stop being a Marc Jacobs 2017 glitter fucking platform boot. So I think like, how do you do that in your own life? How do you do that in your own circle and go like, it doesn't matter if you don't want me. It doesn't matter if I'm not on the guest list to a fucking red carpet. It doesn't take away from my glitter. It doesn't take away from the fact that I am a high fashion runway piece, baby. You know?
What was it that Lauryn Hill said? She said like, I might not be your favorite color in the crayon box. I'm butchering it. Maybe we have to look it up, but it was something along the lines like, I might not be your favorite color in the coloring box, but you still gonna need it, or some shit like that. And I was just like,
yeah. I thought you were gonna be like, what did Lauryn Hill say? It could all be so simple. But
y'all are different in the Heights too right now. What's happening?
Oh my god! When I saw Valentina, I was like, yes, Valentina, rep LA in that scene, like do it up.
yes.
Well, I know you mentioned.
I'm excited. I love speaking to you. I can't wait to see you in person.
Yes,
You mentioned Sasha and Gadiel, so I'm gonna take this opportunity to plug this real quick. June 23rd, we are back.
Let's go. Let's get it.
You can see Sasha live, and she'll probably tell that joke you were talking about. That way, you don't give it away, and you can see it live. And then also on June 24th, the following day, we've got your boy Gadiel. We're doing it in Long Beach as well.
Long Beach, let's go.
Woohoo! Oh my god, is that Jesus?
Jesus Sepulveda. Super funny.
I have such a mini crush on him. I'm like, but like, how do I tell people that I have a crush on him, but not in a creepy way? Like, you're just like, you're like my poster in my room. I just have a crush on you, but it's nothing.
I think you say it like that. Just say, I have a crush on you, but not in a creepy way. So
I always do. I'm like, I always tell all my straight friends, I'm like, all my girls, I'm like, can I gas you up in a gay way? And then my girls will be like, yeah. And I'm like, your ass looks amazing in that dress. And then with my straight guy friends, I'm like, can I gas you up in a gay way? You was fine as you are fine as fuck. Like, and then that's it. Like that is, and then I leave it alone and I walk away.
I love it.
Curly, before we let you go, is there anything we can be looking forward to, or where can we find you?
I'm at the Curly B Show, B as in Victor, on Instagram. You can still find me on BuzzFeed, PeroLike, and you can just find me online, just showing and talking about family moments and hanging with my grandma.
Awesome. Sasha, what do you got for us?
Wow.
Don't forget to go watch De Lo Mio, streaming now on HBO Max. Go follow Sasha on all social media platforms. I've got my half hour streaming on HBO Max as well. So once you're done watching De Lo Mio, come over, catch that. And thanks so much again, Curly. You are amazing. Can't wait to see you in person.
I'm so thankful. Yes. And both of you, like, thank you for all the work that y'all do for your own communities, for our communities, and just for everybody around you. Like, we went ahead there, and it's not going unseen. So thank you so much.
No,
and then just so you know, Curly, if you come out to any of the shows, Brownish, June 23rd in Hollywood or June 24th in Long Beach, you will be on the list.
Yes. Oh my
You
God,
will
that'd
be
be
on
so
the list.
amazing. Thank you so much. I'll send you guys a message, and I'm like, please let me be on that list.
Yes, you gotta be on it.
Alrighty, mi amores. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll catch you next week.